Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I will do a quick flight from Nellis Air Force Base to Los Angeles with the Airbus A400M. The Airbus A400M Atlas is a European four-engine turboprop military transport aircraft. It was designed by Airbus Military, now Airbus Defence and Space, as a tactical airlifter with strategic capabilities to replace older transport aircraft, such as the Transall C-160 and the Lockheed C-130 Hercules. The A400M is sized between the C-130 and the Boeing C-17 Globemaster III. It can carry heavier loads than the C-130 and can use rough landing strips. In addition to its transport capabilities, the A400M can perform aerial refueling and medical evacuation when fitted with appropriate equipment. The A400M's maiden flight took place on the 11th of December 2009 from Seville Airport, Spain. Between 2009 and 2010, the A400M faced cancellation as a result of development program delays and cost overruns. However, the customer nations chose to maintain their support for the project. A total of 174 A400M aircraft had been ordered by 8 nations by July 2011. In March 2013, the A400M received European Aviation Safety Agency certification, and the first aircraft was delivered to the French Air Force in August 2013. Development. The project has its origins in the Future International Military Airlifter Group, established in 1982 as a joint venture between Aerospatiale, British Aerospace, Lockheed, and Messerschmitt Bölkow Blohm, with the goal of developing a replacement for both the C-130 Hercules and Transall C-160. Varying requirements and the complications of international politics meant that progress on the initiative was slow. In 1989, Lockheed decided to withdraw from the grouping. Lockheed independently developed an upgraded Hercules, the C-130J Super Hercules. With the addition of Alenia of Italy and CASA of Spain, the FEMA group became Euroflag. Project management evaluated twin and quad turbofan engine configurations, a quad prop fan configuration, and a quad turboprop configuration, eventually settling on the turboprop option. Since no existing turboprop engine in the Western world was powerful enough to reach the projected cruise speed of Mach 0.72, a new engine design was required. Originally, the SNECMA M138 turboprop based on the M88 turbofan core was selected, but this power plant was found to be incapable of satisfying the requirements. In April 2002, Airbus Military issued a new request for proposal, which Pratt & Whitney Canada with the PW180 and Europrop International answered. In May 2003, Airbus Military selected the Europrop TP400D6. United Technologies alleged that the selection was a result of political interference. A Europrop partner executive said in April 2003 that Airbus was close to selecting the P&WC offer, claiming it was more than 400 million euros cheaper than Europrop's bid. As the original deadline for the engine decision passed, Airbus CEO Noel Forgard said P&WC's bid was nearly 20% less expensive and declared that, as of today, Pratt & Whitney is the winner for, without doubt, a much lower offer could make us change our minds. Inviting Europrop to revise its offering, which it reportedly reduced in price by 10 or 20%. A later report described the revised bid as exceeding P&WC's bid by 120 million euros. The A400M and aircraft it is intended to replace or complement C-130, C-130J30, and C-17. The original partner nations were France, Germany, Italy, Spain, the United Kingdom, Turkey, Belgium, and Luxembourg. These nations decided to charge the organization for joint armament cooperation with the management of the acquisition of the A400M. Following the withdrawal of Italy and revision of procurement totals, the revised requirement was for 180 aircraft. The first flight was forecast to occur in 2008 and the first delivery in 2009. In April 2005, South Africa joined the program, with the Denel Saab Aerostructures receiving a contract for fuselage componentry. Malaysia is the second country outside Europe to be involved. Malaysia, through CTRM, is responsible for manufacturing composite aero components for the aircraft. The A400M is positioned as an intermediate size and range between the Lockheed C-130 and the Boeing C-17, carrying cargo too large or too heavy for the C-130, while able to use rough landing strips. Delays and problems. In January 2009, EADS announced that the first delivery was postponed from 2009 until at least 2012, and indicated that it wanted to renegotiate. EADS maintained the first deliveries would begin 3 years after the first flight. In January 2009, Financial Times Deutschland reported that the A400M was overweight by 12 tons and may not meet a key performance requirement, the ability to airlift 32 tons. Sources told FTD that it could only lift 29 tons, insufficient to carry an infantry fighting vehicle like the Puma. In response to the report, the chief of the German Air Force stated, "That is a disastrous development and could delay deliveries to the German Air Force until 2014. The initial operational capability for the German Air Force was later delayed, and alternatives, such as a higher integration of European airlift capabilities, were studied. On the 29th of March 2009, Airbus CEO Tom Enders told Der Spiegel that the program may be abandoned without changes. OCR reminded participating countries that they could terminate the contract before the 31st of March 2009. In April 2009, the South African Air Force announced that it was considering alternatives to the A400M due to delays and increased cost. On the 5th of November 2009, South Africa announced the order's cancellation. On the 12th of June, the New York Times reported that Germany and France had delayed a decision whether to cancel their orders for 6 months, while the UK planned to decide in late June. The NYT also quoted a report to the French Senate from February 2009, noting, "The A400M is €5 billion over budget, 3 to 4 years behind schedule. Aerospace experts estimate it is also costing Airbus between €1 billion and €1.5 billion a year." In 2009, Airbus acknowledged that the program was expected to lose at least €2.4 billion and could not break, even without export sales. A PricewaterhouseCoopers audit projected that it would run €11.2 billion over budget, and that corrective measures would result in an overrun of €7.6 billion. On the 24th of July 2009, the 7 European nations announced that the program would proceed and formed a joint procurement agency to renegotiate the contract. On the 9th of December 2009, the Financial Times reported that Airbus requested an additional €5 billion subsidy. In January 2010, Airbus repeated that the A400M may be scrapped, costing it €5.7 billion. Unless €5.3 billion was added by partner governments, delays had already increased its budget by 25%. Airbus executives reportedly regarded the A400M as competing for resources with the A380 and A350 XWB programs. In June 2009, Lockheed Martin said that both the UK and France had requested details on the C-130J as an alternative to the A400M. In November 2010, Belgium, Britain, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Spain, and Turkey finalized the contract and agreed to lend Airbus military 1.5 billion euros. The program was then at least 3 years behind schedule. The UK reduced its order from 25 to 22 aircraft, and Germany from 60 to 53, decreasing the total order from 180 to 170. In 2013, France's budget for 50 aircraft was 8.9 billion euros at a unit cost of 152.4 million euros, or 178 million euros, including development costs. The 2013 French White Paper on Defense and National Security cut the tactical transport aircraft requirement from 70 to 50. As the A400M was unable to perform helicopter in-flight refueling, France announced in 2016 that it would purchase 4 C-130Js. In July 2016, French aerospace laboratory ONERA confirmed successful wind tunnel trials of a 36.5 MHOS and drogue configuration that permits helicopter refueling. Prior tests found instability in the intended 24M hose due to vortices generated by the spoilers deployed to achieve 108, 130 knots airspeed. In April 2016, production faults affecting 14 propeller gearboxes produced by Italian supplier Avio Aero were discovered. The issue, involving a heat treatment process that weakened the ring gear, affected no other PGBs. The units involved needed changing. Airbus noted, pending full replacement of the batch, any aircraft can continue to fly with no more than one affected propeller gearbox installed and is subject to continuing inspections. Another PGB issue involved input pinion plug cracking, which could release small metallic particles into the oil system, which is safeguarded by a magnetic sensor. Only engines 1 and 3, which have propellers that rotate to the right, were affected. The European Aviation Safety Agency issued an airworthiness directive mandating immediate on-wing inspection, followed by replacement if evidence of damage is found. On the 27th of April 2016, Airbus warned there may be a substantial PGB repair cost. An interim PGB fix was certified in July 2016, greatly extending inspection intervals. In May 2016, Airbus confirmed that a cracking behavior identified during quality control checks in 2011 was found in a French A400M's fuselage part. Not impacting safety, it could be repaired during regular maintenance or upgrade schedules. The aluminium-zinc alloy, known as 7000 series, was used in several central frames. Its chemistry, along with environmental conditions, led to crack propagation. The alloy was excluded from future aircraft. A retrofit to remove it from early A400Ms was considered, which could take up to 7 months. On the 29th of May 2016, Enders conceded in an interview published in Bild am Sonntag that some of the massive problems of the A400M were of Airbus's own making. We underestimated the engine problems. Airbus had let itself be persuaded by some well-known European leaders into using an engine made by an inexperienced consortium. Furthermore, it had assumed full responsibility for the engine. On the 27th of July 2016, Airbus confirmed that it took a $1 billion charge over delivery issues and export prospects. Enders stated, "Industrial efficiency and the stepwise introduction of the A400M's military functionalities are still lagging behind schedule and remain challenging." Flight testing. Before the first flight, required airborne test time on the Europrop TP400 engine was gained using a C-130 testbed aircraft, which first flew on the 17th of December 2008. On the 11th of December 2009, the A400M's maiden flight was carried out from Seville. In April 2010, the second A400M made its first flight. In July 2010, the third A400M took to the air, at which point the fleet had flown 400 hours, over more than 100 flights. In July 2010, the A400M passed ultimate load testing of the wing. In October 2010, Airbus announced the start of refueling and airdrop tests. By October 2010, the A400M had flown 672 hours of the 2,700 hours expected to reach certification. In November 2010, the first paratroop jumps were performed. Enders and A400M project manager Bruno Delanoy were among the skydivers. In late 2010, simulated icing tests were performed on the MSN-1 flight test aircraft using devices installed on the wing's leading edges. These revealed an aerodynamic issue causing horizontal tail buffeting, resolved via a 6-week retrofit to install anti-icing equipment fed with bleed air. Production aircraft are similarly fitted. Winter tests were done in Kiruna, Sweden in February 2011. In March 2012, high-altitude start and landing tests were performed at La Paz at 4,061.5 m and Cochabamba at 2,548 m in Bolivia. By April 2011, a total of 1,400 flight hours, over 450 flights had been achieved. In May 2011, the TP400D6 engine received certification from the EASA. In May 2011, the A400M fleet had totaled 1,600 hours, over 500 flights. By September 2011, the total increased to 2,100 hours and 684 flights. Due to a gearbox problem, an A400M was shown on static display instead of a flight demonstration at the 2011 Paris Air Show. By October 2011, the total flight hours had reached 2,380 over 784 flights. In May 2012, the MSN-2 flight test aircraft was due to spend a week conducting unpaved runway trials on a grass strip at Cottbus-Druitz Airport in Germany. Testing was cut short on the 23rd of May when, during a rejected takeoff test, the left side main wheels broke through the runway surface. Airbus Military stated that it found the aircraft's behavior was excellent. The undamaged aircraft returned to Toulouse. At the 2012 Royal International Air Tattoo, the aircraft was officially named Atlas. In March 2013, the A400M was granted type certification by the EASA, clearing its entry to service. Production and delivery. Assembly of the first A400M began at the Seville plant of EADS, Spain in early 2007. Major assemblies built at other facilities abroad were brought to the Seville facility by Airbus Beluga transporters. In February 2008, 4 Europrop TP400D6 flight test engines were delivered for the first A400M. Static structural testing of a test airframe began in March 2008 in Spain. By 2010, Airbus planned to manufacture 30 aircraft per year. The Turkish partner, Turkish Aerospace Industries, delivered the first A400M component to Bremen in 2007. On the 9th of May 2015, an A400M crashed in Seville on its first test flight. Germany, Malaysia, Turkey, and UK suspended flights during the investigation. Initial focus was on whether the crash was caused by new fuel supply management software for trimming the fuel tanks to enable certain maneuvers. Airbus issued an update instructing operators to inspect all engine control units, ECUs. A key scenario examined by investigators is that the torque calibration parameter data was accidentally wiped on 3 engines during software installation, preventing phatic operations. On the 3rd of June 2015, Airbus announced that investigators had confirmed that engines 1, 2, and 3 experienced power frozen after liftoff and did not respond to the crew's attempts to control the power setting in the normal way. On the 11th of June 2015, Spain's Ministry of Defense announced that prototypes could restart test flights and that further permits could be granted soon. The RAF lifted its suspension on A400M flights on the 16th of June 2015, followed the next day by the Turkish Air Force. On the 19th of June 2015, deliveries restarted. In June 2016, the French Air Force accepted its 9th A400M. the first capable of conducting tactical tasks such as airdropping supplies. The revised standard includes the addition of cockpit armor and defensive aids system equipment, plus clearance to transfer and receive fuel in flight. Design. The Airbus A400M provides substantial improvements to payload, range, internal volume, and operational capacity over the Transall C-160 and Lockheed C-130 that it replaces or augments. It can carry up to 37 tons over 2,000 nautical miles and can be configured to transport cargo or military personnel, drop paratroops, conduct medical evacuations, or carry out aerial refueling. It can operate out of short, soft landing strips and fly long-range cargo. A typical cargo load might include 6 Land Rovers and their trailers, or 2 light armored vehicles, or a dump truck and excavator, or a Patriot missile system, or a Puma or Cougar helicopter, or a truck and 25-ton trailer. It features a fly-by-wire flight control system with side-stick controllers and flight envelope protection. Like other Airbus aircraft, the A400M has a full-glass cockpit. Most systems are loosely based on those of the A380, but modified for the military mission. The hydraulic system has dual-well 20.7 megapascals channels powering the primary and secondary flight control actuators, landing gear, wheel brakes, cargo door, and optional hose and drogue refueling system. As with the A380, there is no third hydraulic system. Instead, there are 2 electrical systems. One is a set of dual-channel electrically powered hydraulic actuators, the other an array of hydraulically powered hybrid actuators. The dissimilar redundancy provides more protection against battle damage. More than 30% of the airplane's structure is made of composite materials. The 42.4 meters span wing is primarily made of carbon fiber reinforced plastic components, including the wing spars, the 19 meters long, 14 millimeters thick wing skins, and other parts. The wing weighs about 6,500 kilograms, and it can carry and lift up to 25,000 kilograms of fuel. It has an aspect ratio of 8.1, a wide chord of 5.6 meters, and a sweep angle of 15 degrees at 25% mean aerodynamic chord. The A400M has a T-tail empennage. Its vertical stabilizer is 8.02 meters tall. The horizontal stabilizer spans 19.03 meters with a sweep of 32.5 degrees. The Retier-Figeac FH-385 propellers turn counterclockwise and the FH-386 clockwise. The 8-bladed Scimitar propellers are made from a woven composite material. It is powered by 4 Europrop TP400D 6 engines rated at 8,250 kilowatts each. The TP400D6 engine is the most powerful turboprop engine in the West to enter operational use. The pair of propellers on each wing turn in opposite directions, with the tips of the propellers advancing from above towards the midpoint between the 2 engines. This is in contrast to the overwhelming majority of multi-engine propeller-driven aircraft where all propellers turn in the same direction. The counter-rotation is achieved by the use of a gearbox fitted to 2 of the engines, and only the propeller turns in the opposite direction. All 4 engines are identical and turn in the same direction. This eliminates the need to have 2 different handed engines on stock for the same aircraft, simplifying maintenance and supply costs. This configuration, dubbed down between engines, allows it to produce more lift and lessens the torque and prop wash on each wing. It also reduces yaw in the event of an outboard engine failure. Due to these benefits, the vertical stabilizer can be reduced by 17% in size, while the size of the horizontal stabilizer can be shrunk by 8%. A forward-looking infrared enhanced vision system camera provides an enhanced terrain view in low visibility conditions. The EVS imagery is displayed on the HUD for low-altitude flying, demonstrating its value for flying tactical missions at night or in cloud. ADS and Thales provides the new multicolor infrared alerting sensor missile warning sensor for the A400M. The A400M has a removable refueling probe mounted above the cockpit, allowing it to receive fuel from drogue-equipped tankers. Optionally, the receiving probe can be replaced with a fuselage-mounted URC receptacle for receiving fuel from boom-equipped tankers. It can act as a tanker when fitted with two wing-mounted hose and drogue underwing refueling pods or a centerline hose and drum unit. The refueling pods can transfer fuel to other aircraft at a rate of 2,640 pounds per minute. The A400M features deployable baffles in front of the rear side doors, intended to give paratroops time to get clear of the aircraft before they are hit by the slipstream. Operational history. On the 29th of December 2013, the French Air Force performed the A400M's first operational mission. An aircraft flew to Mali in support of Operation Serval. On the 10th of September 2015, the Royal Air Force was declared the A400M fleet leader in terms of flying hours, with 900 hours flown over 300 sorties, achieved by a fleet of 4 aircraft. Squadron leader Glenn Wilcox of the Royal Air Force's Heavy Aircraft Test Squadron confirmed that reliability levels were high for an aircraft so early in its career, and that night vision goggle trials, hot and cold soaking, noise characterization tests, and the first tie-down schemes for cargo had already been completed. In March 2015, the Royal Air Force's first operational mission occurred, flying cargo to RAF Akrotiri, Cyprus, in September and October 2017. A400Ms from France, Germany, and the United Kingdom participated in the disaster relief operations following Hurricane Irma in the Caribbean, delivering a Puma helicopter, food, water, and other aid supply, and evacuating stranded people. In July 2018, the German Luftwaffe used an A400M in combat conditions for the first time, transporting 75 soldiers from Wunstorf Air Base to Mazar-e-Sharif. German Air Force Inspector Ingo Gerhardt called this a milestone because it was the first such mission in an active war zone and showed that the armoring kit was fully functional. In September 2018, the French Air and Space Force announced that they had logged 10,000 flying hours with their fleet of 14 A400Ms, mostly flying supply missions for Operation Barkhane. The German government had planned to sell the last 13 A400Ms out of its order of 53 aircraft, but failed to attract any buyers. In 2017, the German parliament decided to employ them in service at Wunstorf in northern Germany instead. In January 2019, the German Minister of Defense Ursula von der Leyen announced that 10 A400Ms were to be used to form a multinational airlift wing based at Lechfeld Air Base in southern Germany. The plan was abandoned in 2022 due to a lack of interest from potential partner nations. In 2019, a German A400M tanker replaced the Airbus A310 MRTT deployed to Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan to refuel Allied aircraft as part of the German intervention against ISIL. In August 2021, a total of 25 A400Ms were deployed by Belgium, France, Germany, Spain, Turkey, and the United Kingdom to assist in the Kabul airport evacuations. German A400Ms evacuated 5,347 people over the course of 35 flights. In September 2023, Royal Air Force A400M transported British search and rescue teams to Morocco. After a moment, magnitude 6.9 earthquake had ravaged the country. In October 2024, the German Air Force tested the A400M's mixed airdrop capability at Schauen Drop Zone at Airbase Cell, combining personnel and cargo drops from 400 meters at 220 kilometers per hour in different configurations. Overseen by BAA and BW, the trials build on earlier NATO standard CDS pallet trials conducted during Grafenwohr exercises in 2020 and confirmed the A400M's ability to deploy up to 4 metric tons of cargo and 108 paratroopers in a single sortie. Final military certification depends on further trials and data analysis, while Airbus certification has been granted. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you found this video interesting. If so, please give it a like. Also, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. It's free of charge. See you next time. Goodbye.